Is the Apple Magic Keyboard actually worth $350? Let's discuss. This is the Apple Magic Keyboard, and I bought it when the new iPads, the M4 iPads, came out. This is the Apple Magic Keyboard Part 2, and there are many things that I like about it. There are many things that I like about it that go above and beyond what it was previously. People have talked quite a bit about how there is a function row here, which is great, although I do wish there was a way to turn the keyboard lights down here. I haven't figured that one out yet. But you've got lock, you've got your volume buttons, you've got your transport buttons for playing music, you've got your night mode, you've got your microphone, you've got your search bar, which is great. I mean, instead of hitting this, you hit that, you get your, whatever they call that. My editor will tell you what it is that they call that button. Anyway, and then you've got brightness for the iPad and an escape button. You've also got I just call it the emoji key, plus command, option, etc., etc. The keys are full-size key, at least on the 13-inch iMac Pro version. I have no problem typing on them whatsoever. Here's the thing. Accidents happen, but what if you could have an independent witness with you to protect you when those things do happen? That's where the Vantrue N4 Pro comes in. It's your personal eyewitness on the road, offering ultra-clear resolution for all your driving needs, whether it's capturing key details on the road or ensuring your car is protected while parked. This camera does it all. So what is the N4 Pro? Well, it's really 3 cameras in one. You have your front camera, which captures everything in a wide angle across the whole front of the road for you. It captures details like license plates and all kinds of stuff like that in 4K, as well as night vision that's just as clear and can capture as much detail. It comes with Sony's Stannis 2 lens, which is the top of the line right now and can honestly pick up just about anything that's out there in front of you. The N4 Pro also comes with a 1080p indoor cam that will capture everything that goes on inside the cabin of your vehicle, whether or not it's you singing to yourself to the radio or someone trying to get in when you're not around. This is going to capture it. Not only that, the N4 Pro comes with a rear camera that's also 1080p with night vision that will capture everything that happens behind you. So you're covered 360 degrees with everything that you need to protect yourself and your family and make sure that when accidents happen, you're protected, and you have the evidence that you need to show what it is that happened out there on the roads. Links to the N4 Pro with the Stannis 2 from Sony down in the description below and in the pinned comment. So go down there, click that link, check it out. Thanks to Vantrue for sponsoring the video, and let's get back to our regularly scheduled program. They feel pretty much exactly the same as the keys that you would get on a MacBook Pro, which is good. They're very nice. The trackpad is not as big as you would get, but it's a haptic trackpad. It's an aluminum body on here now with a rubber pad on the bottom. So you've got a lot more rigidity going on. You've got a better hinge. This hinge is very taut, and it's generally just works better. It has a little port here to plug in so you can charge. You can't transfer data, but that makes sense because you're just charging through the pogo pins that are on the iPad here. So you wouldn't be transferring data that way. So it makes sense that you can't charge from it. When it comes to angles, I found that whereas I found it more difficult to use the other iPad Pro Magic Keyboard in, like, if I were watching or working in bed or something like that, watching videos or just, reading or getting ready to go to sleep. I used to have, struggle to get an angle where I could see everything. But now the nice thing is I find that I need to have it just sort of tilted down. And it just sort of sits there. So it's a little bit forward on the keyboard. I don't need the keyboard. And it stays in place a lot better. You can also straighten it up if you need to. So you've got this dual hinge here that has some nice points of demarcation. And then you've got this other hinge here that will increase or decrease your angle. Now that Apple has put Face ID on the landscape side, which, I mean, if you're going to make a keyboard like this, and this is going to be a de facto laptop, I guess, then you want to have your Face ID there instead of over here. So you have to do this. And I found that I used the iPad mostly in landscape mode anyway. And when the Face ID was over here, I would just kind of like I would be holding it and my thumb or part of my hand would be covering it. Anyway, I digress. The Magic Keyboard turns your iPad into something that is in some ways better than the MacBook Pro. For one thing, it has Face ID and it has a touch screen. I know that some people don't care about touch screens when it comes to laptops, but this is that. I mean, iPad OS has the problems that iPad OS always has. But with a keyboard this nice, it doesn't feel like one of my issues with iPad accessories like keyboards and stuff in the past was that they always felt very cheap. Even if they were very expensive, they felt very cheap. I had a bridge keyboard that I used with an iPad Pro several years ago, and the hinge of that bridge keyboard broke. And that was a $200-something keyboard. And I mean, they went out of business. So I mean, maybe there were more problems there than I knew of. They were very nice people. I met them one time at CES. But the keyboard accessories for iPads have always felt just kind of cheap. This is not cheap. You've got a nice rubber gasket that goes around here, so you get a nice seal. You almost get the same kind of thunk that you get with the MacBook Pro when you close it. And there's a little bit of a magnetized deal going on there. So it's nice. So there are a lot of pros about the Magic Keyboard. There's a lot to say that you're getting a really high quality keyboard here that adds a lot of functionality to the iPad, and it's well made. So maybe it's worth the $350 that they're asking for it. However, there are a few things about it that bother me. I'll just go through those really quickly. One of them is whatever this material is, this rubberized material. I have tried to clean this off with everything that I can think of besides battery acid, and it just looks awful. It looks terrible. It looks like crap. Same thing on the bottom side, same material. It just looks awful. It gets all kinds of dust and dirt and debris on it, and it sticks to it. And it just makes it feel bad. It just makes it look bad. So that is a huge downside for me. And I've talked about this with other people, and some people say, well, just get a dbrand skin. I guess I could do that, and maybe I will eventually. I wasn't sure if I was going to stay the iPad Pro route or not. So since it seems like I'm going to stay with an iPad Pro, I probably will. That's a solution to that problem. But the other big problem that this has, and this is both a problem of design as well as function. The iPad Pro, when you look at it like this, it's not super thick. It's kind of heavy. It's easy to carry around. There's no way to make sure that this guy doesn't fly away in your bag or somewhere else. But I don't think I'd want a loop that a lot of other cases have, because those things get all flappy and annoying. The Paperlike cases have a flap that go over, but there's also a notch in here that keeps the flap flush with the back, so that when you have it laying down, it's not annoying. My big issue with this is if I want to use the iPad with the keyboard case, that's great. But if I want to use it on its own, I just have to take it out. The iPad is so versatile that I don't always want to have to keep it in this case, but I don't want to have to buy another case for it. Like, do I buy an Apple Smart Folio case for this that costs $100? $100 for the Smart Folio case. Do I buy one of those and use that? Or do I just carry it around naked? Or do I get a D-brand skin? I don't know. It's a form and a function problem with the Magic Keyboard. It works extremely well when the iPad is in it. But when you want to take the iPad out, there's a disconnect between like the iPad being totally naked and the case not offering any additional protection or another way to hold it, because I might want to have it like sitting somewhere, but I'd have to have another case for that. Does that make sense? Anyway, does the Magic Keyboard earn its price point? I would say this. Any other company would charge $200 to $250 for this keyboard, and it probably wouldn't be any worse than this. And Apple could probably easily charge $200 to $250 for this keyboard and still make a handsome profit. But this is another one of those ways that Apple makes their money in this age of, trying to stair-step their price structures, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, you could buy a 512 gigabyte iPad that costs $1,500, and then you get a $350 case, and then you get a $125 pencil, and suddenly you're up at $3,000 for the whole kit and caboodle, which is a lot. And I guess you could make the argument that the iPad is more versatile, or at least it's versatile in different ways than a laptop. So in order to get some of that extra functionality, you pay premium. I don't know. It feels like to get the full iPad experience these days, you have to spend a lot more money than you do to get the MacBook Pro experience. And it's hard to talk about the keyboard without talking about the pros and cons of the iPad. But the keyboard itself, judged on its own merits, what it does well and what it doesn't, which isn't much, honestly. If you have the money, then you're not going to regret having the Magic Keyboard. Yes, you can get another cheap case on Amazon and a $50 Bluetooth keyboard and get the same functionality, basically, but not quite the same. I will say that, I'll say it this way. I'm mad that I had to spend $350 to get it. And I was mad that I had to spend that money to get the first one as well. But saying that, I'm glad that I have it, if that makes any sense. What do you think? Do you think the Magic Keyboard's worth it? Tell me what you think down in the comments below. Otherwise, if you want to see more content like this content, then hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell notification, say all notifications, and that way you'll know whenever there's a new video coming out from me. If you want to get more of a JTL experience, there's a membership button down there. New membership stuff is in the works right now, so memberships are cheap. And so you could just get yourself right in there. There are a couple of different levels, but the bottom level, super cheap, helps support me, helps support doing what I do with all this expensive stuff. I've got a music channel. Links to all my socials are down in the link in the bio link. The link in the bio link down in the description as well. So let's connect. Let's do the thing. Let's be friends. You and me. What do you say? Anyway, if you've been here before, thanks so much. If you're just coming for the first time, welcome in. My name's Jason. Until the next time, I'm out.